to be with you this evening. On the show tonight, I am joined by a very up for it Gordon Thomas and Tom Dyer at Pure West HQ in Haverfordwest, and we will get into some of the local and national stories tonight. We've got a full roundup of the local football and rugby news from the weekend. Also, time to look ahead to next month's autumn internationals that aren't far away. Former Cremit player Josh McLeod named in Wayne Pivac's Wales squad, of course. Our guest tonight, making a welcome return to the show to talk football, is the former Haverfordwest County manager Wayne Jones. He will tell us about being inducted into the club's Wall of Fame this weekend. So plenty to do. Let's kick off. Tom and Gordon, evening to you both. How are we?
Very good, Ben.
Evening.
Good sporting weekends, the two of you. Gordon, where were you?
I had a bit of a dash round again. It was a bit of a wet afternoon, actually, Ben. I was dodging the showers, but I did get a little bit wet. I went to Clapperson Road versus Hakin in the Pembrokeshire League out there. Hakin finished 4-0 winners. They got back to winning ways. And then I dashed to Haverfordwest Rugby Club to watch Harford play Cardigan in Division 3. The Blues were in fine fettle in a bit of a mud bath at Merlinsbridge, to be honest with you. Their forwards dominated the game, and they powered to a 67-0 win. Not that you want to see score lines like that at any level, but Haverfordwest haven't had the best start of the season, so that will give them a bit of a boost for the rest of the season, so to speak. Then I dashed down to the Bridge Meadow, and lo and behold, they were leading 1-0.
Yes.
And I did have a little chat with the man that's coming on, Wayne Jones, and he was quietly optimistic. Things were going to go okay second half, but unfortunately, I was told, and I've seen it, the footage, Jack Wilson's, sending off was a little bit bizarre, to say the least.
And was it 80 minutes with 10 men, Gordon? Wasn't
yeah,
it?
10 minutes. He was sent off, and Haverfordwest were leading 1-0. Before that, they had Elliot Scotcher. I keep saying Gavin because I played with his dad. Elliot Scotcher scored a cracking goal, 25-yarder, top corner. But lo and behold, second half, it was, they were put under extreme pressure, and Bala were good value for their 4-1 win, unfortunately.
And we will have more with Wayne on that game. Haverfordwest legend, of course, former manager. We'll talk to him a bit more about that and where the Bluebirds need to improve, because it's a bit of a worrying run of form actually now, Gordon, isn't it? After a good start, it's just that they'll be wanting to put an end to this.
Yeah, we went through this sort of story last season, didn't we? It was well documented by Ryan with the Fly in the Wall documentary. I'm sure it's going to be very similar when we get to the end of the season again. To be fair to Tony Pennock, I will say he inherited the squad. It's been a difficult ride. They've had a few injuries, few players suspended and the likes, and lost a little bit of form, and you start losing a few games in this division, and you start slipping down the league ladder. I mean, they were top at one point, and we were all elated with that, but they're down to about, is it 9th or 10th now? But it's they got TNS this week at home, the New Saints, so fully professional outfit will be at the Bridge Meadow, and it's going to be difficult to get anything from that sort of game, but they have to pick themselves up. They have to try and get something out of the game. Hopefully they don't suffer what they did last Saturday, an early sending off, which put the whole team under extreme pressure. But anything can happen at any given moment, and any side in that division is capable of beating any side as well. So it's an interesting league. But I think Rob Edwards and the crew are having a bit of a bumpy ride at the moment.
We'll talk to Wayne about that, because for people that watch from far and wide, it's a relentless league, the Welsh Prem, and it'd be interesting just to get some thoughts on that. There's some really good teams at the top of the table. Tom, yourself, good sporting weekend. Of course, you're our resident Liverpool fan. That was some win from Notts Forest, I thought, on Saturday lunchtime.
It was. I'm really pleased for them, actually. They had a dominant season in the Championship. They've made some very shrewd signings in the summer window, and including Wales's Nico Williams. And
Played well.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, there's 3 Welsh players I think there at the moment as well. So they're doing well. And Nico Williams, I think, is top in blocks at the moment. 22 blocks in the season. He's doing really well. So luckily I didn't watch it.
The Premiership, Tom, has been a bit of up and down as well. I mean, Liverpool beating City, you thought, okay, they turned the corner.
Nope.
And unfortunately, Nottingham Forest turned them over. That's what the Premiership is like, isn't it? Again, similar to the Welsh Premiership, any side is capable of beating any team on any given day.
Yeah. Well, I think Steve Cooper's doing a good job, and he was pretty popular at Swansea. I'd make him half an outsider for the England job at some point, actually, because he's been through the FA coaching. He won with England, I think, under 18s, under
17s or something.
So he's well in the system, and I think he actually set Forest up very well on Saturday lunchtime. He's gone back to basics, and that was a good win for them. And if he keeps them up, I think he's done a really good job, even though they have invested a lot. My team, unfortunately, that was poor yesterday. Talking about teams that have invested a lot, how do you compete with Newcastle's billions, eh?
There's a few teams with a lot of money around. That's the problem, Ben. Money talks, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So any comments on the weekend sport, do let us know. What was your sporting highlight? What did you enjoy watching this weekend? What about locally then, Gordon? You mentioned you're at Clarbeston Road, and a really good interview as well in the first hour of the show with Steve Brown, Volunteer of the Year.
Yeah, that was really surprising, really. I didn't realise that he had won the award until Saturday morning. So I thought I'd dash out to Clarbeston Road and have a little chat with Steve, because Clarbeston Road is a great grassroots club, to be honest with you, Ben. I actually played for their first ever junior side back in the 18th century, I think it was.
Well,
it's 50 years ago, Ben. It's a long time ago. It's half century.
You made your debut.
Even then, the people that were involved at that club, volunteers, they always gave a lot to that club, and it's continued. And they've had a lot of grants. They've upgraded their ground. They're hoping to do the changing rooms. And Steve Brown, for the last 15 years, has been one of the key men. He was quick to praise everybody else as well that's been helping behind the scenes, but he took the accolade at Cardiff at a special FAW evening where they were presenting these awards, and Steve was presented with the Welsh Volunteer Award of the Year, and that's great recognition for a small club at Clarby, even though he was really disappointed that they're currently, I think, bottom of the table in Premier League First Division. He's hoping that they'd address that.
On the pitch, that was a pretty emphatic win, wasn't it, for Hakin? That they won 4-0. Goodwick United also winning 2-0 at Kilgetty. So the two teams we expect to be going head to head for the title, both getting quite decent wins, really.
There was a good win for Carew as well against Moncton. Carew have been out of form, and Jordan Richards scored a stoppage time winner to give them a 3-2 win. So well done to the Rucks. They're still fighting. And also Merlin's Bridge are quietly doing their job. They won 3-1 at Neyland. They've won 5 league games on the bounce and a joint top with Goodwick at this moment in time. Wow. Goal difference separates them, and I think it's only 1 or 2 goals it is anyway. So Hakin will be there or thereabouts come the end of the season as well. It's going to be an interesting few weeks ahead.
Yeah, indeed it is. And also locally, we had a bit of discussion on the Pure West Sport WhatsApp group in the last week or so. That's a great place to be for people who are listening. Lots goes on in that group. But the story we're talking about actually concerns the Senior Cup, doesn't it? Which is a competition we give a lot of coverage to where we possibly can. And it's all about Hakin, isn't it? Because they've obviously gone further than Haverfordwest County in the Welsh Cup. We mentioned that, didn't we, last week?
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Great to see Hakin pushing themselves, but it means they're going to be restricted in what they can do in the Pembrokeshire Senior Cup, Gordon, because of a rule that actually goes back a few years, doesn't it?
Yeah, it came to light as Adam John Titch has gone back to Hakin from Carmarthen Town. Great little players, Adam. And whilst they were looking at what cup competitions he played in this season, it came to light that anybody or any team that plays in the Welsh Cup cannot play in their local Pembrokeshire League Senior Cup competition. And unfortunately, as we just spelt out, that Hakin have had a brilliant run, and it seems rather, in this day and age, we're penalising them for playing so well in a top competition. But unfortunately, how this rule has come about, Ben, you can go back in the 1970s, and I did explain this to you, is Haverfordwest County, Pembroke Borough and Milford United were all Welsh League Division sides. Put that into terms now, they would be in the Welsh Premier. That's how it was. And they all had Pembrokeshire League sides as well. What the Pembrokeshire League didn't want to happen, or other Pembrokeshire League sides, is to come up against their Welsh League side in the Pembrokeshire Senior Cup competition. So they put this rule in place. So no Welsh League players could play for the Pembrokeshire League side.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, this is a few years now, and it's moved on. None of those teams now, 2 have gone completely from the Welsh League. Haverfordwest County haven't got a team in the Pembrokeshire League now, so that rule really doesn't really apply, but it does because it hasn't been changed.
Yeah. So as a result, Hakin will probably have to field their second team in the Senior Cup.
I think they will bravely ask, because there's only a certain amount of players that can play from a second team into it gets a bit complicated.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Pembrokeshire League, League Council, pardon if I'm wrong, boys, but I think you'll have to give them a little bit of leeway. And if that's what Hakin want to do, is put the second team in with some of the players that haven't played in the Welsh Cup, then that's probably what will happen, to be honest with you. A little bit of common sense needs to prevail now.
Yeah, good comment here from Jason Chapman, who says Hakin have a massive decision to make. Do they cup tie all their seconds? It's a shame about the rule, as they're flying the flag for Pembrokeshire in a big cup, but it is in black and white in the handbook.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we were saying when we were talking about this. Do you think going forward, the league will probably look to do something to amend the rule? Because you don't really want to be punishing teams for having the aspiration to have a Welsh Cup.
I know,
run.
but you cannot change the rule either. That's the unfortunate thing. The rule can only be changed at an AGM, and that won't be till next summer. If any, they obviously will address that next summer. Somebody will actually, want to change that. But at this moment in time, that rule is in place, so it can't be broken. You've got to go with it. But the only solution is what I just said. Hopefully their second team and peripheral players who haven't played in the Welsh Cup can play for Hakin in the Senior Cup. And they'll still be very strong, I can tell you that now.
No, of course, but what you don't want to do as a principle, you don't want to force teams to not be able to pick their best sides, do you?
No.
That's not what you want for the sporting context of the competition.
No, I agree with you, Ben. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the rule is there, and we went through all the regalia of last season. It's a shame that it's come about so quickly again, but hopefully it'll be we can move on. I wouldn't say resolved amicably. It's going to be a bit of a bumpy ride, but we've got to accept it and move on.
Okay, another issue relating to player registrations as well, after what we had last season. Okay, we will take a moment. Wayne James is going to join us in just a sec. I'll tell you one question I might have to ask Wayne, Gordon, is how he would deal with a player like Ronaldo. All that ability, walks down the touchline, refuses to come on. Wayne wouldn't have stood for that, would he, on the Bridge Meadow?
Oh, no, he'd be gone.
Because you can't really have that. It's not fair on the rest of the players, is it?
Yeah, it's not about Ronaldo though, Ben. It's about Manchester United Football Club. He has to respect that. I think it's become personal between him and the manager more than the club. It's a great shame because he's a great player, and it's just making a mockery of everything now. I'd be quite happy to take 500 grand a week. I'd be shaking things out with their hands and say, thank God you haven't paid me this week.
Yeah. You wouldn't mind sitting on the bench for half a million?
Half a million every week would be fine, mate. I could handle that.
Yeah. All right,
I'd stay in the stadium after the fans are gone. Don't worry about that.
We'll ask Wayne how he would deal with that. We'll also obviously remind he's a big Wolves fan as well, Wayne Jones, and they've had a bit of a tricky run. They got
a passionate Wolves fan, I might add.
Hammered, didn't they? 4-0 at the weekend at home. So we'll talk about
by
that.
The Foxes.
Yeah, also the fact he's been inducted into the Haverfordwest County Wall of Fame, which is really good recognition. So look, we'll do that in just a few moments' time. Great to have your company. Don't forget you can get involved, give us your comments. They'll come straight through to us here this evening on Pure West Sport for Monday evening, coming up to 8:20.
Eaton Evans and Morris Solicitors have traditional